Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tandem Talk Show. I'm your host, Coach G, and today we have a brand new episode with an amazing guest that I cannot wait for you to hear her story. I've been waiting months, literally months, to get her on the podcast because she has such a remarkable comeback story that I think can relate to a lot of women throughout their struggles of losing weight, having kiddos, and the struggle that comes with that, especially putting yourself first in a time of need and wanting to improve your health. And this amazing client of ours has done such an amazing job and has inspired so many people in our community to take action in improving their health. And so I wanted to get her on here today to share her story, her experience with her program, and any advice that she'd give to you guys as well. So without further ado, Kailyn, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Thank you again for coming on. I've been waiting months for you to join me on the I know you're super busy, so thank you so much for coming on. And I know that you have been following us or had been following us for quite a few months. I guess what was the one thing that made you take action to, I guess, wanting to sign up with us here at Tandem Nutrition?
So I had been following and I knew that I needed to get back into having a coach and having the accountability. I knew that what I was doing on my own wasn't working. And so Kassidie, who is actually my coach, is local to Lafayette where I live. And so I saw her post and I'd actually reached out and asked her about the program. And then I went ahead and scheduled the call, got all the information I needed. And then it took a couple times, and then I had reached out and was like, I'm ready to sign up. I was tired of the way that I was feeling, the way that I was looking. I knew that I wanted to get back into my fitness journey, and there was just no room for any more excuses. I knew that I couldn't do it on my own, and the program offered exactly what I was looking for, as in with the one-on-one coach, the app access with the tracking, and the workouts, and I was able to do everything from home. And so just the program literally crossed and checked all of the boxes that I was looking for. And so I was like, that I have to make it work because it's what I needed and wanted to push towards.
I love that. And I'm so glad that you had, are having such a great experience here at
Yes.
Tandem. And you said something I want to touch on because what you just said, so many other people say, and that was number one, I was tired of trying things on my own. And that then you mentioned I just knew I needed a coach.
Yep.
Tell me more about what you mean by that second part, but also when you said I was tired of doing things on your own. How long were you trying on your own before you decided that you needed a coach?
So if we back up all the way to 2020, when the world shut down with COVID, I had worked with a coach previously for a year and I had saw great results. I learned a lot of knowledge. I love learning about nutrition and macro counting. And so I know how to do those things. I know how to work out in the gym. I know form. However, I don't know how to put all the pieces together. And so taking the knowledge that I had, I was still trying to do okay, I know how to count my food, but I didn't know an exact calorie deficit that I needed. I knew what I needed to do for lower body, but I know that there's science behind what muscles you work together and how often. And so I knew that I needed a coach that was knowledgeable enough to tell me hey, this is exactly what you need to do and take all of the guesswork out of the equation. And so that's what Kassidie does. She's like, we're going to set your goal at this many steps. This is what your protein is and your calories. And these are your workouts that you're going to do for the next however many weeks. And so just literally somebody telling me, this is what you need to do. And the easy part is that I just put in the work.
I love that. So it sounds like, all the pieces were kind of put together for you in
Yeah.
one plan. You know exactly how many calories and macros to eat and, when and how to adjust those targets for yourself.
Yeah.
Because as you know, I hear this all the time that when people think that once you start at a very specific calorie goal, that you can stay there the entire time.
Yeah.
And essentially hit your goal. But going throughout the metabolic reset system, even to that first fat loss phase, adjustments have to be made.
Yep.
So it sounds like, Kailyn, you tried things on your own. You learned a lot in the past. You weren't even new to this, but after having your daughter, it sounds like you took the reins in your hands. You did your best for as long as you could. But what was that moment where you said, listen, I guess I really need some help with this? Like, what happened that made you say, look, I really need a coach?
So I think that we had our consult call because I knew that I needed the coach. And so I had the consult call, pushed off signing up, and then we went on vacation and I saw a picture of myself and I was like, that's not just a bad angle. I was like, that I have put the reason of becoming a new mom as like the forefront. And I was like, I cannot look like this anymore. I can't feel like this. And so after I had saw that picture, I think it was very quickly after, I was like, yeah, something needs done. This has gone on too long. I've let these excuses and now it's time to take control and do something for me so that I can be better for her.
And I can tell that when you started the program, you're very and still are very motivated, so
Yes.
consistent, doing what Cassie had mentioned. And talk to us about the results that you achieved throughout your program.
So, and I've told people that I've talked to about this, your results aren't going to be instant. And I let people know that the thing that I love is that every individual in this program, our plans are not the same. So Kassidie worked in the beginning with finding out what my calorie deficit was, which obviously takes time. And then once she dialed in what my calorie deficit is and where I needed to be with steps and everything, and we're working on increasing my calories now. So I've completed the fat loss phase. My goal now is we're trying to increase my calories and maintain, and I have maintained for over a month now, but I'm down 24 pounds, 2% body fat, and I also had to throw away almost every single pair of clothing that I own.
Let's go. That is awesome. So down 24 pounds, 2% body
Yes.
fat, and almost had to get a completely new wardrobe. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. Like clothes that I was wearing, like they don't even look right. My body composition is completely different. The style of clothes that I was wearing, they don't help show the progress that I have made.
That is incredible. And you can see in your
Yes.
side by side, your transformations. I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And I can tell you lost more body fat, more body weight than just what you have
Yeah.
on the scale because of the muscle mass you're
Yeah.
gaining as well. So super excited. I love hearing how for those of you who are listening who may not be familiar with our approach, when she mentioned going from fat loss to another phase that we're re-increasing calories, I know it's going to be different than most programs. Like our goal for all of our clients is that this is the last diet you'll ever need to do. And the way that we do that, and even as a dietitian, when I became a dietitian in 2012, I did not know anything about, even though I was educated, but thousands of dollars, I did not know what I was doing until like working with a lot of people. And what Kailyn said so well was like re-increasing your calories and re-increasing your metabolism is truly key, right?
Yeah.
For increasing or keeping that weight off. And so, and it sounds like that's been a pretty good experience for
Yeah.
you as well.
Yeah. It's a mind game. And I have talked about this on some of the posts that I've made, that like the inner dialogue in your head is saying like, oh, if you eat more, you're going to gain that weight back. And with the science that your program provides and the work that I have put in, that's not the case. Your body truly, I mean, like there's science in it. And so increasing my calories, I have actually maintained the weight that I've been at. It's been at least a month, maybe a month and a half, that I've increased calories and I'm still where I was.
So I don't have your chart in front of me. When you say increased calories, can you tell us how many calories you've increased by that has still allowed you to maintain your body weight?
So it's been a slow process because my calorie deficit was at 1,300 and I'm currently at 1,500. Cassie and I are working on getting that higher.
Okay.
I started a new medication, and so that has suppressed my appetite.
Sure.
The thing that I like about the app is that I am tracking, and so I'm able to see like, oh, I actually need to eat some more to reach that goal. So it's a slow process. We're still working on getting that up, but it is hopefully in the next couple weeks going to
Awesome.
raise again of what my calories will be.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes for
Yeah.
you. And once you finish that, you'd be going into maintenance and then
Yeah.
into our intuitive eating phase to
Yeah.
complete, and then into our alumni
Yep.
program that we talked about. So
Yep.
excited for you to continue on the rest of your journey. I do want to, before we end the podcast today, I do want to ask you two more questions. One being, because I know that you are not new to dieting.
Right.
You had the macro knowledge, the fitness knowledge. I'm curious, what were some beliefs that you had about nutrition, about fitness before you joined our program that maybe are now broken, or that maybe change your perspective since working with Kassidie, that maybe kind of like go against to what you once knew or thought?
That you have to be in a calorie deficit the rest of your life to maintain or stay at the weight that you had reached after losing weight. And that's not the case, or that I couldn't ever eat unhealthy again, or I still like my Starbucks coffee. And you can still enjoy those things. And you don't have to be in a calorie deficit for the rest of your life to maintain the progress that you have made.
That is incredible. That is huge too, because so
Yeah.
many people believe that you have to be dieting for the rest of your
Yeah.
life. And the cool thing is you have the latest and the most advanced strategies, the metabolic reset phase, to help you never have to diet again. And like I said, when I first started this, coaching 12, 14 years ago, I literally, that's how we did it. Like you ended in a fat loss phase.
Yeah.
And we know that's not the best way to do things, because once you start dieting, your metabolism decreases. And the only way to keep it off is to increase your calories, to increase your metabolism. So glad to hear that you know there's some hope from any other beliefs that maybe were broken from this experience.
Trust the process. So when I first started, it was slow, and then just putting trust into Kassidie, my coach, and everything else, and trusting that you're in this fat loss phase, but you're only in it for a certain amount of time, and then you're going to increase your calories, and just trusting what the process looks like and not just throwing in the towel. I was really discouraged when I first started because she told me that I needed to weigh myself every day. And the scale's not the enemy. And actually weighing myself every day has made me more in tune with my body as well. And so just trusting everything.
Absolutely. And yet, weighing yourself every day can definitely be a challenge. And the more data we have, the better. And
Yeah.
some clients too maybe weigh 4, 5, 6 days a week, but I can certainly understand how that can be a challenge for sure.
Yes.
And glad to hear that you developed a different relationship with the scale from doing that. So last quick question, Kailyn. Thank you again for coming on today.
Yeah,
Really excited
absolutely.
to have this published. For those listening today that maybe are on the fence about like joining the Metabolic Reset Program, or just may not be sure about who we are and what we do and if we can help them, what are two pieces of advice that you would give them?
Schedule a consult call. That's the first thing I tell people. I'm like, if you have questions, schedule the consult call. It was great. It was very knowledgeable. Everything was extremely laid out and very clear of like what to expect through the program. And as I said, like, trust the process, but just don't expect the results in like an instant 8-week fix. I believe that this is more of a lifestyle change. And so if that's what you're looking for, definitely schedule a consult call, reach out. I've told people, they're like, thanks for talking to me about it. I'm like, I'm an open book. So if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer anything. But yeah, definitely schedule that consult call. And if finances are a problem, make it a priority. I will never regret that. People always ask, like, well, how much is it? I'm like, well, how much is it worth to you to be healthy and to be happy and to have the body goal that you want, or to look in the mirror and be happy, or have the energy for your child? And so those things far outweigh what anything could cost.
So powerful. So powerful. Thank you so much, Kailyn, for coming
Yeah.
on today. And guys, you mentioned a consult call. Don't worry, it's not with a random person. We have an amazing team. Most likely it'll be with me taking the call.
Yeah.
And so more than happy to, and I think I had your call, correct?
Yep,
But-
you did.
Okay.
Yep.
That's what I thought. It's been a couple months, a few
Yeah.
months ago, but if anyone listened to this episode and you just felt inspired and maybe even excited about the Metabolic Reset Program, or want to learn if it's a good fit for you, You reach out to me on Instagram at Tandem Nutrition and just say the word podcast, or you can even email me at garrett@tandemnutrition.com. And we'd love to have a conversation with you to see if this could be a good fit as well. But that's it for today. Kailyn, thank you again for coming on. And we look
Absolutely.
forward, yes, we look forward to the next episode of the Tandem Talk Show.